Before you rush into next year, I invite you to pause. You have lived, you've learned, you've stretched, you've survived. This episode isn't about fixing what's wrong, it's about honoring what went right. And today we are going to reflect on your year and carry forward what truly matters. Let's do this. Hey, you all, I'm Dr. Danielle McGew. I'm a mom, I'm a professor, I'm a recovering overachiever. Today, I'm going to jump into a couple of the things that really gnaw at me at this time of the year. So, we just moved into November, and there are two really big things that kind of settle in on me in November. And one of those things is holiday planning. I start to really amp that up, and that's what next week's episode will be on. So, tune in for that. But I also get really reflective at this time of the year. I start to really just create some space to pause, to reflect, to name what worked, what didn't, and to start to gain some clarity on what it is that I want to carry forward with me into the next year. So today I'm going to walk you through what my process of reflection is. And I just want to clarify that this is something that I take a lot of time with, and it is something that I do before I set my goals. I'll do some episodes and get us to a place where we are really thinking about what are the particular things that we're carrying into the next year, and how do we name our goals, and how do we create plans for implementation. But today I wanted to just really focus on the processes that I put into place to help me reflect, to really just soak up the year that I've just lived and that I'm still living because there's a couple months left still. So y'all know that I'm a huge fan of journaling. It's funny. I'm not sure that I would have said that for a very long time because I almost think of myself and my journaling is more like little snippets of ideas. There's not even always full sentences. It's a mess. It's nothing pretty. It's not something that I imagine if my ancestors would have my journals, they would not tell a complete story. It'd just be all these fragments of ideas. But I really use pen on paper as a way for me to process, make sense. And the slowing down of that is so important for me. There's also something about writing things down that helps me really claim what matters and maybe even release what doesn't. So I do set quite a bit of time to reflect, and there's kind of different ways that I like to do this. So one, I'm a huge fan of goal planners or goal journals, and I have used all sorts of different ones throughout the years, and I like to keep playing with different ones. So I have a sense of possibilities planner and journal, and at the beginning of it, there is so many pages that just help you reflect. I take you through my vision goal setting process, and a majority of that goal setting process is reflective work. And so I like to take my time through this. I usually start in October or November, and I just kind of soak it up. I use my own processes. So, I'll crack open a new one of these this year, and I'll use it to help me really move through things. Because this is something that I really, really, really nerd out on, I will also use other people's tools as well. So, what I'm playing with this year is Moxie Life has a new dream workbook, very deliberately moves you through reflecting on each of your life domains. And so, if you wanted to go really deep into, let me reflect on my personal life. Let me reflect on my finances. Let me reflect on my health goals. I'm only 2 life domains in right now, but I've been really impressed with the depth of it. Now, there is what I would say a bit of repetition. I feel like because our life domains really overlap, I am finding some overlap across the questions where I'm like, oh, I think I already answered that, but I'm also giving myself permission, and I want to offer this to you too. If you do something similarly, you do not have to, if you are using the Sense of Possibilities planner and journal, if you're using any other tools out there, you can do it the way that you want to. You do not have to do it the way that they've designed. So you can jump around and just do the one that speaks to you that day. You can skip some, you can leave parts of it blank, if that's all right. And it's taken me a little bit of time to really own that. That's like somebody telling you that you don't have to finish reading the book. That when the first time I had a professor tell me that he hardly ever actually finished books, but he was so brilliant. And I was like, this is a really brilliant person that is like telling me that he rarely finishes reading a book. And it was kind of liberating. I was like, oh, if there's a book that I'm not jamming with, not jiving with, I can just put it down. And the same goes for any sort of journaling resource that you use. I'm rereading books that help me think through and reflect my year. So this year I'm rereading Michael Hyatt's Best Year Ever. And I'm also doing 40 days of journaling around Oliver Berkman's Meditations for Mortals. So I'm really, really excited for that. As part of my spiritual practice, I also just ordered kind of devotional that I'll be doing as part of my Advent leading up to Christmas. And so I know that those are all going to be part of my reflection processes. And then, y'all, I really like to do things in community. So even though I have the tools to do a lot of this work on my own, I like to be able to join other people and do this with them. So I have reached out to one of my friends because I'm doing my business planning at this time of the year too. And I was like, hey, do you have an offer around this? She does some really amazing work. Or I was like, could we just get a group of people together? And so that's what we're doing. There's going to be a group of us that are going to get together and do some business planning together. And then I met a really lovely woman while I was doing yoga. And I found out that she does these vision workshops. She is a trained counselor and does all sort of creative expressive arts in her counseling practice. And so in November, I'm taking a few hours on a Saturday and I'm going to be creating kind of my vision board with a group of women here locally where I live. And so that's really exciting and something new. And I can't wait to report back to you all. But, I want to leave you with some prompts. But before I did that, I did just wanted to let you know that I have this process where I'm journaling and I am using tools to help me journal. I'm reading books to really get my brain fired up and to remind myself of some of the tools that I already have, but maybe I've forgotten. And then I'm also finding places where I can join other people, be in community with other as part of that goal setting. Because even though I coach and even though I do this and even though I can lead you all through this, I like to sometimes be the student and be led through it as well. And I'm always seeking opportunities to learn more and to refine my own practices so that I can bring them back to you all. Which, by the way, in January, I do plan to host a Go Plan Your Year retreat. So if that's something that you're interested in and you want to do some of these reflective processes, but then have some time set aside in January, you really name those goals and really start creating some implementation practices, just know that that is something that's going to be available in January. I'm going to offer those retreats once a quarter, all of next year. So I'll make sure that I update my website here soon where I will have all of the 2026 dates for that Go Plan Your Year retreat. For those of you, if you're just listening, the retreat is an online retreat and it's a 4-hour virtual retreat. You get a retreat box in the mail and you can choose to do the retreat and purchase the Go Plan Your Year course, or you can just do one or the other. So I just want to kind of put those things out there as something that you can do. And if you want to get on the wait list, I'll make sure that there's a way to do that in the show notes as well. So I do have these practices in place, but some of my favorite prompts that help me, I guess some of the mental things that I'm doing that help me reflect on my year are just things like, what are some of my favorite memories from this past year? And how do I create more of them? And one thing that I'm really excited about, I have the 2026 weekly planner by Go Plan. And at the back of it, there's actually a place for every single month for you to record your best memories. And I do this right now in my Sense of Possibilities planner, but I'm excited to have one in both places. And what I like to do is go, okay, how do I create more moments like that? I also spend a lot of time just thinking about what were the things that were really working for me and how do I make space for more of the things that are working? And then I take time to really name what isn't working. What do I want less of? If I could wave a magic wand and make less of those things, what would they be? And I give myself permission to actually just dream with this. So if I want to say there's going to be less dishes, less laundry, less meetings at work, I will put those things down, even if I don't know the how, even if it feels like those aren't decisions I get to make. I put them down because by writing that down, I do think that we start awakening our senses to finding the possibilities for making less of those things. So, I've told a story before about I once went to my boss and I said, "Hey, this meeting that I attend every single week that is 90 minutes long, I think I only need it once a month." And she was like, "Okay." And I was like, "Whoa, that was easier than I thought." So I do believe that there are some ways that if we write this down, we're going to just open up ourselves to these serendipitous moments where we go, "Oh, I think that there might be a possibility there for me to do less laundry. Let's try. Let's take this on and see what happens." And so I really think that that's important. And those are simple questions. What worked? What would you like less of? Another prompt that's really important to me is, as I'm someone who dreams a whole lot and am good at sensing all the possibilities, what can sometimes happen in these moments is that I start to feel like I want to do all of the things right now, like this second, let's go. And I really try to encourage myself to think, and I do this through all of my different life domains. If there is only one thing I could do around my finances, what is the one thing that I could do that would make everything else easier in either my financial life or in my life in general? And I try to refine that because I find that I really want to get picky about what I need to do first in order to unlock the other things and to really recognize which are the things that are going to be my biggest levers to make the biggest impact on my life and the life of those around me. So I love that question from the one thing. I think Jay Papasan and Gary Keller, what is the one thing that if done, all other things would become unnecessary or easier? And I like to use that for every single life domain so that I can get to the juicy stuff. So I like to collect memories. I like to have these prompts about what do I want more of? What do I want less of? I like to think, what were some of my biggest lessons from the year? I like to think back. I like to flip back through my journal, through my planners, and to go, what were those lessons? And how can I carry them forward with me into the next year? And that can be a really powerful thing. So if you've never done this too, this is a fun one. At the end of each of your months, name what your biggest lesson is in your monthly review. And it is so cool to kind of go through and see, was there a theme of lessons I was being taught this year? Oh yeah, I learned that. And then I forgot it again. I make sure that I remember it again. And I think that that can just be incredibly powerful. So that is a really important part of my reflection process. And then for me too, I like to have these conversations with my partner and with other people. So part of my reflective process is talking with my husband and discussing what is it that we want, in our lives the next year and what went really well this year and what were some decisions that we wish we would have made differently, not in a shame or regret sort of way, but like in a, where's kind of our opportunity moving forward to learn something from that and to take it with us. So my husband and I do schedule a time. Usually it's in November, right before Thanksgiving or right after Thanksgiving. We try to schedule a couple of days that we get to spend with each other. We do a lot of our holiday shopping then, but it's also a really important time for us to share with each other what our personal goals are and then to talk about our collective goals for our family. So those are some of the things that I really love when it comes to reflecting. And I invite you all to take the next couple of months to pause, to celebrate, to go, where did I feel challenged in this last year? And where are some places that I wish I would have pushed myself? Where have I not had the guts to stand on the edge of things? And what do I need in order to have the courage to kind of walk the edge next year? I'm feeling really encouraged by the clarity that I already seem to have for my upcoming year for 2026. And I think that part of it is that I've been so good at having rituals of reflection and planning and connecting with myself and doing this work that my yearly reflection is coming easier, more gently, quickly. And I'm just feeling so much more confident what I'm learning about myself and where I'm headed and where that fits into my family's goals. And it's really flippin' peaceful and nice, y'all. And I want that for you. So I hope that today's episode has given you a few ideas. I invite you to check out the Plan Goal, Plan Your Year. I invite you to check out the Sense of Possibilities Planner and Journal, as well as the weekly. And so I'm so excited to share those things with you because there are dynamite tools to make this sort of thing a normal part of your day, your week, your months, your quarters, your years, that you're just going to keep exploding the possibilities and the clarity and the confidence that you have in this beautiful, wonderful life that you are living. And I feel so flipping grateful that I get to share all this with you all. So thank you so much. And until next time, be bold, be balanced, and be well, friends.